pep band.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Falls Cable Access Channel 14. I'm Jerry Missline, along with my broadcast partner, Bill Hintz, bringing you a Greater Metro Conference game tonight. Menomonee Falls Indians hosting the Brookfield Spartans. Bill, Falls come off a big win against Sussex Hamilton. We got Brookfield East tonight. You got one of those things. We're going to ride the momentum on the last game, or do you come out flat tonight?
Well, that's a great question, because I think what we have to look at here is that was a huge win for this team. You know, the crosstown rivalry between Hamilton and the Falls is big, and they've obviously been winning a couple of those on the Sussex-Hamilton side. So for Falls to get over the peak, and especially to beat someone as good as Cameron Cerrone, is really pretty impressive. You know, he did have his 37 points, but the bottom line is they were able to beat the team of Hamilton. And I think they're really riding it high. I talked to the coach. They've had some great practices, very enthusiastic. And if you just watch the pregame, they're pretty excited out there.
What were your keys to the game tonight, do you think, would be? I mean, there's got to be some things that we got to look for before the game starts.
Yeah, and this game's a little different because we can talk a little bit about the previous time that they played Brookfield East. In that previous game, East really tried to control the tempo by slowing it down. And so what the Falls has to do, and these are our keys to the game tonight, we have the up-tempo game. We think that if they can control the tempo, if Falls can get out there and get up and down the floor, we think that's really going to help them a lot tonight. Also, Falls did a great job last time against against Sussex Hamilton, because they really played aggressive denial defense, and that really made a difference. They could never get comfortable. They never got to do what they really wanted to do. And finally, Indians must go out there and they've got to score from the outside against the 2-3 zone. We're going to see zone action from East, because East isn't real confident about being able to go man-to-man against this team. So now, what does East have to do? I think it's important to look at what they have to do. They have to slow the game down. They've got to control the tempo. If they get up-tempo, we get up and down the floor, they're going to have a heck of a time. Their zone defense has to work. They've got to be aggressive enough to be able to contest the shot, but if we can hit our outside shots, they're not going to sit in that for very long. And finally, East has a very patient, deliberate offense, one where they just kind of work it, and so we have to be that aggressive style. It's really a study in contrast between these two teams. One really wants to slow it down, the other one wants to get up and go.
You know, I noticed last game, we thought Sussex Hamilton hit a boatload of threes, which they did. But I checked the paper the next day, and I believe Brookfield East had 9 threes against Marquette, and Marquette plays some good perimeter defense. So I'm afraid they're not afraid to take the three, and it appears they can make them.
Yeah, and I think it's tough for them to come off of this particular win. In the conference, you know, they've only won 1 game. They've won 3 in the non-conference. But, you know, when they come off of a 72-49 loss against Marquette, but Marquette's tough. Marquette's a good team. But they did not. They didn't back off. They didn't. You know, Patton is their leading scorer. He's going to be tough, and he's going to score, and he's going to get his minutes and that. I don't think he's of the Cameron Cerrone level, but he's definitely going to be somebody that they have to play good defense against.
Yep. Well, it's almost game time here, and we're going to have national anthem. It's going to be sung by Wendy Winter. So let's cut away and join everyone for our national anthem. How does this come on? Oh, there we go. Should we go through the starting lineups then?
Oh, say, does that star span?
That was our national anthem sung by Wendy Winter. And already our cable access crew got us a great shot.
Isn't that a great
We really appreciate that. And we also talked last week about having AAA students, and that's another example of someone with the arts.
Absolutely.
I do want to mention, we talked about records, and last year I think Brookfield East won 2 games all year, conference games, and one of them was right here at the Falls.
Right.
So they're going to be, it's going to be a tough game tonight.
And what we're seeing is a graphic right now of the conference standings, and you notice because Menomonee Falls beat Hamilton, Hamilton slipped to 6-4, the Falls went to 5-5, and of course Brookfield East, as we mentioned before, is 1-8 in the conference. So, they got their work cut out for them. But again, after coming off a great win, you really can't look too far forward. You really have to think about, really building on the last win. You can't take anything for granted. And as we said, the last time these two teams played, just a couple of weeks ago, it was 48-44. Falls only won by 4 points, so they have to get ready, and they have to get ready to play tonight against a team that wants to win.
But what I wasn't aware of, and you pointed out earlier at our pre-meeting, was that I believe Lee Becker did not play the last game, correct?
Correct. And also, just a little sidelight, J.P. Tokido did not start. And so, but he came off the bench, and he did score 18 points. So, Tokido's got that ability to score. And of course, he had only 4 points last Tuesday night, but I think you can see that might be a good possibility. Bodwin came in with 11 on Tuesday night. Phillips had 10. Becker had 17. That was a great performance. We talked about that before. And Cording with 4. And Rubat was the big surprise, the microwave, as you call him, the 14 points. Just a great job off the bench for Rubat.
Well, it was an exciting game the other night. We got some great graphics here. Here's our starting lineup. As you fans can see at home, we start 3 juniors, or check that, 2 juniors, 2 seniors, and our freshman, Jean-Pierre Tokito. Once again, I said I checked on the internet. He is ranked as a 1 or 2 top freshman in the state, but it's a good, solid team from top to bottom. And our bench, we had, I think, the last game we went about 8 or 9 deep, and probably need all those guys again tonight.
Yeah, they had 7 guys that scored on Tuesday night, and I absolutely agree with you. I think this is going to be a team that's going to be tough to play in the playoffs because you can't focus on one guy. One night, Rubat comes in and scores 14, Becker scores 17, Tokido did 18 the last time they played East. So, I mean, it's a tough team to prepare for because anybody on any given night can really come out and do the job.
Well, you look at those top 4 teams in our conference, us, Sussex, Hamilton, Tosi, and Marquette. I mean, if I'm from another conference, I don't want to play any of those teams. I'll tell you that right now.
Absolutely. That's a tough conference. And we talked the last time, too, about the tough non-conference as well as conference schedule that the Falls has had. And, they've kept their heads on straight. They're focused, and let's see what happens.
Right. We got Jean-Pierre Tokito, jumping tenor. He gets a tip out to Cording. Cording brings it across half court. It appears that they're in a man-to-man, Brookfield East.
Yeah.
Ball swung out to Tokito on the high post. Floating around the left side. Becker with the rebound. Becker goes up with it right away. That's a typical Becker move. Get the board and put it right back up.
Yeah, and I think that what you see right there is that if the Falls can get all those inside, second and third and fourth shots, things are going to work. They just got to go up strong. Lee just probably didn't square up exactly. It would have been nice if he could have got the 3-point play right off the bat, but we won't be greedy at this point.
Now, you think Falls will come out in the press, Bill?
Yeah. I mean that would be that would lend to its the up-tempo game that we talked about before, and it might be something that they might try.
Okay, Lee Becker missed a free throw. I haven't seen that in quite a while.
Yeah, and sometimes you got to just get into the groove a little bit.
If you notice here, it's such a shock that the refs have actually stopped the game.
Well, everybody's tired. They got to take a break.
Yeah, I see him.
We've actually gone 18 seconds into the game.
Yeah. Okay, Becker take his second attempt. That first foul was on C.J. Gregg, their 6'4 sophomore. They got a little bit younger lineup also. They start 1 junior, 1 sophomore, and 3 seniors. Falls up 1-0. Bring the ball up court.
Straight up man by Falls.
No. Number 10 is their point guard, Daniel Patton.
Yeah, see, now that's Patton down in the low block, and, John Phillips was just a little bit late getting there, and of course Patton got the shot off, and nice turnaround jump shot for him.
Cording looking inside, going around. I check that Bodwin into Becker. Becker up and in. Lee Becker's got a bucket and a free throw. Falls up 3-2.
And good use of the backboard by the strong, taking it to the hoop by Becker. And again, young players, watch how you do need to use the backboard on some of those moves.
They got Cal Curtis outside. Ball's over to Colin DeVoe. DeVoe over to Patton. Patton seems to be their leader. Got Johnny Cording on him, playing tight defense. Ball's inside. Jonathan Phillips, excellent defense. There's those threes. Phillips clearing the boards. I said last telecast, I think he's the most improved player on this team. He is just playing with a lot of confidence and looking good.
Well, you know, and Siebert has a lot of faith in him because he immediately puts Phillips both on the toughest offensive player, both on Tuesday night and Friday night here.
And I thought Phillips here was going to make me look good by nailing that one. That was in and out. Okay, that was a three-pointer by Cal Curtis. East takes the lead here, 5-3, 6:19 left in the first quarter. Cording brings it up. Over to Bowden. Bowden looks inside, out to Phillips. Swings it around to Tokoto. Johnny Cording took a peek. Knocked away by Patton. Ball's out of bounds. Be Falls ball.
Falls is looking just a little rusty right now. You know, they're not passing real smoothly. They're not, you know, doing all the little things. They just got to get into their groove, and they'll be fine.
That ball's out to Cording. Cording swings around the Bowden. Inside to Becker. Put back by Jonathan Phillips.
Good strong drop step. Unfortunately didn't go in, but a great follow by Phillips. Yep, you're right.
And you got to like they work the ball. And it's so easy to be impatient and settle for outside shots. And kind of a well-coached team. Nice shot. I believe that was by Cal Curtis.
Yeah, so they're getting way too many uncontested shots. That's not what happened against Hamilton. Hamilton, they had every shot contested. And tonight they're getting a lot of open shots early in the ball game. They got to tighten it up.
Jean-Pierre with a little floater. In and out. Rebound, Brookfield East. I noticed when the Falls was on their winning streak, their perimeter defense was outstanding. I mean, challenging the ball and challenging the pass. It's what you got to do. Becker with a steal. Steal inside. Up to Toka. Here's that up-tempo, Bill. Down to Cording.
Oh.
Well.
Timing was a little off. I think everybody in the place wanted that dunk by Tokoto, and it didn't happen. But it was a great steal by Becker and got the ball out quick. And, again, that was that up-tempo we talked about. They'd love to be able to get a couple of up-tempo baskets.
You know, we're looking across. We see a full house tonight, and it's impressive in one regard is we have no cheerleaders who are qualified for nationals, and our dance team is at state. So you take all those parents. I don't know where we'd put them if they were here.
I think you're right, but, you know, what's exciting is we got our pep band here tonight, and I think that's going to be kind of adding another dimension to an exciting game time for us.
Okay, we got Connor Bodwin on the left-hand side. Ball's over to Tokoto. Back to Bodwin. Bodwin off a little. Jonathan Phillips up for the rebound. Comes down to Brookfield East. Brookfield East at the 4:30 mark has a 7-5 lead. Daniel Patton, Bill, there's that patient offense you talked about. Swinging around the outside.
They get the weak side picks. They come strong to the ball. You got to defend that coming to the basket side.
Jonathan Phillips, a smothering defense. Cross-court pass. You got Patton going around the right side. Johnny Cording on him. Cuts to the basket. Loose ball. And there's this is a big game for Brookfield East. They're playing a team that has a better record. And ball's inside. Put back and a foul. We'll have C.J. Gregg going to the line.
Yeah, you know, they're just not boxing out like they were doing Tuesday night. You know, people just got to remember that you can't give up baselines. You can't let, them just simply get the loose balls. They really have to focus on being aggressive defensively. And right now, they're kind of thinking, well, we're a stronger team and we should win. And you can't just mail in the score. You got to get out there and prove that you deserve to win the ball game. So you got to get much more aggressive than what we see right now.
Now, C.J. Gregg being one of their sophomores, you look down the road for the next 3 years, it's him and Tokoto will be facing each other. And I said, the conference in the old days, in my day, it was seniors and juniors. You didn't have sophomores or freshmen playing.
Well, I think what's happening, though, with all the advent of year-round basketball, that we have a lot of players developing a lot sooner than they used to. And so, you got a Tokoto who comes in as a freshman and can actually contribute at the varsity level. And obviously this Gregg guy from East is obviously a strong player starting as a sophomore.
Oh, but put back. Johnny Cordon went down the line, put back by Jonathan Phillips. Connor Cassidy checked in. Now we talked maybe they're a little slow on defense, a little lax. Connor Cassidy comes out. He's a 100% guy. He'll be in your face. He'll be denying the lanes. Great footwork, strong upper body.
Oh, good hustle.
Yep. Score 7-7.
He got the strip, but actually what happened was his foot was on the line, and that's why he wasn't able to recover it.
He had the first substitute for Brookfield East is number 34, Devontae Harper, a 5'8 senior, 22, nice inside pass. He'll be going the line foul on Johnny Courting. I'm trying to get a number here. That's number 31. Dan Osgood will be going to the line.
You always are concerned when a guy can penetrate and then find somebody close to the basket, uncontested shot. And in that particular case, we contested it, but we fouled him to contest it. So we were out of position. We really have to hustle a little bit more and not let the penetration get the ball inside.
First free throw is good by Osgood. Makes the score 8-7. Very low scoring at this point. Here's a shot of our new camera angle against the wall. Gives you a great view of the up and down court, the interior defense, and free throw shooting. We talked about form the other night.
Yeah, we've actually positioned it a little bit differently because we did have some situations that were kind of blocked, and I think this view is actually even better than what we had on Tuesday night.
Well, FallsCableAccess.com may do a terrific job here. Little floater by Jonathan Phillips, in and out. Okay, we got Devontae Harper bringing up court. He's got Johnny Courting on him. Spartans up 9-7.
Now
Swinging on the left side.
Harper is actually considered the super sub on this team. Wow. He comes in and he's kind of electric. He's kind of a spark plug for them, and he's not a big kid. He's only 5'8", but you know he's tough and he's aggressive, and he likes to mix things up. And he is a senior, so he's got some experience as well.
Bringing Tokoto back in. Bill, here's a case. Jonathan Phillips just picked up his second foul, and he's about 40 feet from the basket. Mm-hmm. I know you go for the steal, but at some point, you know, when you got one, you got to back off a little bit.
Actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think the second foul was on Phillips. That's what they did.
Said Phillips, yes. I thought I said that. They brought
still in there.
In. No, they just brought him in. Okay, we got Matt, excuse me, his mom will get mad at me. Adam Rubat, number 20, just checked in. Nice steal by Courting. Now, there's some aggressiveness. There's aggressiveness. That's what we're talking about. Courting, Rubat, and Cassidy. Those are guys that get on the floor for you.
That's much more like team defense.
Rubat with the rebound. That'd be going to the line.
Now, you know, that's the thing about Rubat. He comes in, he's kind of electric, he gets the open shot, they don't even know he's out on the floor, he gets the shot, and then he follows the shot. Yeah. And he gets a second shot, and obviously now he's fouled and he gets the free throw line. But these free throws are big. Remember we talked about the fact that the games before, they were 15 for 30 and they lost the game. This time, last game, they were actually much, much better from the free throw line, and these free throws are big. If you're going to get fouled, you got to make the free throws, you got to build a lead, you got to get back in there, and free throws are critical. Young players, you really have to spend time on developing that natural touch. There's two for us right there.
Well, you know, a lot of times you come in, you want a guy to handle the ball a couple of times before he takes a shot, but in Rubat's case, if he's open, take it.
Yeah, he's got the ability to do that.
Now, Rubat was involved in that loose ball. He went down there, got a shot, but got his own board, put it back up, was fouled, made two free throws. Now he comes down on this end and forces a travel.
Yeah.
That's a kid off the bench. You know, that shows the depth of your team. Got Johnny Courting with the ball. Courting coming around the right side. Let's see if he did go inside. Out to Becker. Becker's the way out. Ball's inside the Tokoto. Good defense. Nice block by Brookfield East on Tokoto. Bring the ball down court to Devontae Harper. We got 1:40 left first quarter, 9-9.
You know, Tokoto is going to learn that if he takes the ball strong to the basket and goes up strong, he'll either draw the foul or they won't be able to stop him. He'll put the ball in the basket. That was too soft, and it was between two defenders, and of course they got their hands on the ball. But he'll learn that. He's only a freshman.
Oh, yeah, he's a terrific freshman. Now, hard worker, appears to be a good kid, too. Okay, we got a three-pointer by... There we go. I want to mention again, I had talked to Dick Luther, and he said that the Tokoto reminds him of Muhammad Ali. He just floats up and down the court, and there's a floater, in and out, and a putback.
Good follow by Tokoto. Once again, kept his eye on the basket, and when it didn't go in, he was right there for the rebound, put it right back in. A lot of second and third shots are happening, and that's good. We just got to put them in, though. We got to make sure we score.
And Bill, there's a good example too of your patient offense, walking it up court. Nice basket there by C.J. Gregg, who was their sophomore. Cassidy looking inside. Rhythm bounce. Tokoto up high. Into Becker. Got fouled. It looks like it was on
31.
I can't check it. Yeah, it's hard to see from here. It's Dan Osgood.
Osgood, 6'5", yeah. But you notice what's happening there. You've got Tokudo in a high post, and he's looking to get the ball to Becker, that's kind of flashing across the middle. And they don't want Becker to get the ball close to the basket. That could mean a lot of trouble for East.
Okay, they just took Johnny Cording and Lee Becker out. Donnie Manovich checked in, a senior, a heck of a point guard, very quick. And then Max Paskey, our quarterback of the basketball team, but a very solid basketball player. There's Paskey with the ball. Back out to Matovich. Paskey's a tough defender. Rubat, they got a hand check on him. 3 seconds, I guess.
Yeah.
So once again, Matt Paskey is a 6'1 junior, and Donnie Matovich, 5'8 senior. Matovich, once again, very quick. He had a great steal and layup against Sussex and a key moment of the game.
And we got about 15 seconds, 10 seconds now. Rubat making something happen.
There we go. Now let's see. Long bomb. And that's the end of the first quarter. Score Menomonee Falls 13 and Brookfield East 11.
What we used to always talk about was, at every quarter you have a defensive and offensive goal. And, of course, the first most obvious goal is to score more points than your opponent. And when you look at the number of points that they allowed the Spartans to score, 11, that's pretty good. We used to try to say 12 or less is what our goal was. But offensively, I think the Menomonee Falls Indians are a much stronger team than 13 points. Yep. And they had chances, they had opportunities, they didn't make all their free throws, they didn't take the ball strong to the basket, they really didn't follow through on some of their shots and things like that. So I'm looking for them to tighten up defensively in the second quarter and then really, really come alive on the offensive end. I think the Indians can do that after this great game on Tuesday.
I just want to set the earlier game this evening. We had the freshmen came out. They were down 13-0 and won by 20. And they came out flat. Coach Leffel called a timeout, regrouped his troops, and they came out. Started some top players, and they've got a very solid team. They all play, but Nick Burgoyne, James Ulicki, David Sterren, Brennan Schneider, Troy Kenklin, Keith Myers are their core, but the other guys fill in very well. And we want to congratulate the freshman team. I think that's like 4 in a row for them. They're really playing well. Remember, last year they played with Tokuto. Right. So it was easy probably to look for him all the time, right. And C.J. Malone. And it took a while to find themselves, and they're really coming around. And hope they continue the rest of the season the same success they're having.
Now, notice what happened while that was all going on. What we've got is an aggressive coming out on the defensive end. What you had was a half-court trap by the Falls, and East was just not ready for that. And so I thought it was a great trap, and you notice they did it exactly the way it says in the textbook. You use the mid-court line and the sideline, and then the two guys on either side, and you trap the guy right there. Now, I'm not sure exactly what the conversation between the official and Coach Siebert is right now, but I thought it was a great aggressive style, came out of that huddle and really wants the guys to get up defensively, and that's exactly what we talked about. They've got to find some aggressiveness and I think with the lineup they have right now, it's really it's a smaller, quicker lineup, so this trapping and this aggressiveness can really work right now.
Okay, we got the ball. Patting over to, I think Tongas is number 25. He had two brothers play earlier tonight. That was about Rubat or Cassidy out with the ball. Cassidy over to Matovich. Matovich down the lane.
Yeah, you get that close, you got to take the shot.
Yep.
And if you're going to throw it to a big guy, you can't throw it at the hip. You got to throw it up high near the head area.
Yep. Shot by Brookfield East. Tokuto skying for the rebound. Brings it up court himself. Yeah, that's what he can do. Defense, rebound, bring the ball up and score. There's not much else, is there?
Well, no, and I tell you, he's like a vacuum sweeper up there. He just grabs those rebounds, and he grabs them so high, nobody else has even got a chance for him.
Donnie Matovich into Paskey. Paskey, nice little turnaround. Didn't get it to drop. I think you're going to get Rubat over the back.
Cassidy, I think.
Oh, Cassidy? Okay. Got a substitution in for Brookfield. He's actually a pair of them. Alan Dozer is one of them, and number 12, Andrew Raymond. Andrew Raymond is Hank Raymond's grandson. I saw Hank come in last year and scan the roster, and as a freshman last year, I know he had a big shot in the fourth quarter against us, so little Marquette connection there, Marquette University.
University, right.
Fans giving it to Cal Curtis, who had an air ball, still by the Falls. Max Pacey down the court. Connor Cassidy.
Notice what happened there. What happens is they got that aggressive defense in that half court. They make the tip, they make the steal, push it up the floor, up tempo, boom, boom. All of a sudden, we got 2 more baskets. This is great.
You know, and that's one of the things, the keys of the game, and if you stick to those, you can't reinvent yourself at this point in time.
No.
You got to do what you're good at.
Well, it's like what we always used to say. You got to play to your strengths and you got to avoid your weaknesses. Doesn't mean that you don't work on your weaknesses, but what they really have to do is you have to focus on doing the things that you do best. And if you can dominate the game and you can decide this is what we're going to do, we're going to be up tempo, we're going to take the ball to the basket, we're going to dominate on the rebounds and everything else. I mean, it can be a lot of fun, you know, in that. And so really, it's kind of a chess match between the coaches.
Yep.
It's, you know, which style is going to dominate, which style is going to win.
Yeah, and like I said, it appears our bench. You look out on the floor right now. We've got Tokoto, a freshman, and 4 guys who didn't start. And there's no discredit to our starters, but these guys are good ball players. But you can see it's a smaller, quicker lineup, and you would expect a few steals here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Max Pacey's got Andrew Raymond, who's got about 4 inches on him. Ball's on top. Manovich with his quick feet, cutting everything off. Cassidy out here on defense. I can watch Cassidy play defense all day long. Nice little floater. Rebound by Cassidy. Bringing the ball up court. Spots, a little bit high, but the pass is deflected. But once again, they're pushing it, Bill, aren't they?
They're pushing it up, and I think the other thing that you also notice is that Patton's getting a little frustrated. He actually had to push off even to get his shot off that last time. It'll be interesting to see if maybe they get a couple of calls like that against Patton, because he really doesn't like the guys playing him tight because then he can't get his shot off.
Cassidy down the lane, on the floor. Ball's over to Ruben. Ruben inside.
Another 3
can't
seconds.
see what probably 3 seconds.
Yeah,
That's
3
correct,
seconds.
Bill.
Yeah.
Now, Falls has kept this group in pretty long. East has been running in and guys up. Now, they're going a little bit taller. They brought in 22 there. Greg is a 6'4" sophomore. And Tokoto's on him. They'll be seeing each other the next couple of years. And we've got bring the ball up court. Ball's back over to Pat. Nice crossover. Matovich still on him, though. Rubat, the illegal pick or...
Yeah, moving pick.
Yeah, moving pick. He Falls ball. Falls on number 10, Daniel Patton. That's
for you younger players. It's important you notice that the reason that was an illegal pick was because it was moving. It never was really set, and the person who initiated the contact was the offensive player, and that can't happen in a pick situation.
There's a great shot of a Falls setting their offense. Rubat bringing it up court. Matovich dumps it inside to Tokoto. Beautiful pass from Matovich to Tokoto.
And what great body control. Think about how high that ball was, and he had the sense of where he was, that he was able to come down, do a little spin, drop step, and put it in.
We got a shot at a score. Falls up 17-11. 5:19 left here in the second quarter. Nice little floater, in and out. Rebound, Tokoto. He's got a half dozen of those at least. Bringing the ball up court. Down the lane, little crossover. Into Cassidy. Fouled on the play.
Well, and you know, let's go back to that shot or the shot that Tokoto almost blocked. I'll tell you, that's a tough shot. You know, you try to do a baseline drop step and turn around jump shot in front of Tokoto. I mean, he could just knock it down, and I think that's very, very tough. If they want to shoot that shot and try to make it over him, I don't think they're going to be very successful tonight. Let's look at this free throw now by Cassidy. You know, Cassidy in the last game came out and just showed that nice natural rhythm. You young players notice that he does exactly the same thing every single time. He has a ritual. They call that a ritual in basketball. He goes to the free throw line. He does the same number of dribbles. He squares up, does the right things, and then, of course, the follow-through is the finish of the shot.
You know, you talk about you young basketball players. We have a lot of them here tonight. Tonight's Junior Indian night. And we got them sitting on the bench and alongside us, and they're into the game. They're not here to buy candy and soda. They're here to watch basketball. Well, that's what you want to see.
And it was kind of fun, you know, if you watched at the very, very beginning when our team came out, what they had was like this receiving line, if you will, and it was made up of, you know, the JV players and the freshman players and all these little kids that wanted to shake their hands as they went out onto the floor for the first time. It's kind of exciting. This is an enthusiastic crowd.
Yep. There's a nice pass there, a nice inside pass, caught him in here and put it back in. Scores 18-13. Menomonee Falls is up. You got Connor Cassidy bringing the ball up court. You know, I noticed we have Rubat bringing up one time, Courting the next time, Matovich the next time. Got a lot of guys can handle the ball. Ball's inside to Becker. Brute force Becker. He gets the ball down low. He's going to make the shot or put the shot up or get fouled.
Well, and see, what's happening is, he goes strong to the basketball when it's thrown to him, so he, comes to the ball, he catches it, and then he turns and goes right to the basket, and he draws the foul. And, of course, the only way they can stop him is by, fouling him. And, of course, that foul is, was on 22 Greg, the sophomore. He picks up another 1 or 2 fouls, they're going to be in trouble because, really, he's the man inside for them right now. He's that 6'5", strong sophomore, and he gets in trouble. That's not going to be good for East.
And speaking of foul trouble, a little earlier, Patton, I believe, picked up his second foul. So you take your point guard and you take your big guy inside, and you wind up with a score like we got now, 20-13. Brookfield East bringing it up. We got 4:23 left. That was a little easy, but rebound by Tokoto.
The old coach in me just doesn't like giving up the baseline.
Oh. Courtney's been a little slump. Playing point guard, playing good defense, and maybe his shot's off a little bit. But I know as a sophomore last year in the JV, he could nail him from anywhere.
Yeah, it might be that he's rushing things a little bit. The great coach, Coach Wooden, always talked about be quick but don't rush. And I think maybe that's what he might be doing just a little bit. Might want to do well so much that he's kind of rushing things just a little bit.
Rubat missed an outside jump, a rebound of Brookfield East down the lane. Nice little move there. I think that was Devontae Harper.
Yeah, you can't give them the easy layups. They took the baseline one time. This time they drove right down the lane. There was no team defense. This change of lineup kind of changed the complexion of the defense.
They're in a 2-3 zone now, or a 3-2 zone. The assassin, Connor Baldwin. He's ruthless and cold-hearted on them jump shots. And it goes back to that Oshkosh North game when he nailed one right at the end.
Oh, yeah. And what's neat about him is, he started the game, didn't really get into the rhythm, then sat for a while and watched the game, and now came back in and then hit that shot. And I think that'll get him some confidence.
Now, see, there was an uncontested shot out there. I believe that was Raymond's out there, and that was uncontested. And
that was out there. I mean, he was not exactly close to the 19-9. He was a little bit further out than that. But if that's his range, you got to get on him.
And if you're going to let at this level, you can't let guys stand out there and shoot. You're going to pay for that when you paid for that one. But we'll come around here. Courtney looking inside to Becker. Becker, beautiful pass to Tokoto.
Now, you notice what the defense actually is. It's a 1-2-2. It's a 1-2-2. And right underneath the basket, or right in the center there, is really where the weakness is. And so if you can get a high post man, you get the ball to Becker, and then they look for somebody like Tokoto inside, it's going to be nights out for them.
You got another open jumper. They're hitting up the threes. I believe that was Andrew Raymond's. So they're coming down. We're trading 2 for 3. Scores 25-21. 2:21 left here in the second quarter. Looks like Basky's going to come in. I got a feeling Coach Siebert ain't happy with someone's defense. Maybe as a team he's not happy with the defense.
Yeah, they've lost their intensity. They've got to get it back if they're going to really make sure they build a lead instead of letting them back in it.
Cross-court pass to Bowden, and Bowden out to Courting. He's got it. They're forcing our defense out. The zone is pretty effective here. Rubat over to Courting. Courting for 3, and there we go.
I tell you, now that's much more his shot. He didn't rush it. He stepped right into the shot. Nice follow-through. That's the Courting we know.
And he can nail those. Okay, 28-21, 1:41 left here in the second quarter. East with the ball out high, looking inside. And a putback. And Rubat with the rebound. I think he got fouled on a rebound. And that'll be 7. But it's a non-possession, so I think the Falls get the ball out of bounds.
No.
I'll take that back. Oh, okay. It is the 7th foul, yeah.
But little things that you got to look for defensively. We got everybody turning their back on the ball. They can't see where the ball is. That's how that guy got that ball so close to the basket. They were fortunate that East didn't make it, but you can't turn your back on the ball. You have to always know where your man is that you're defending and where the ball is. You cannot turn your back on the ball on defense.
Okay, we got Adam Rubat at the line. You can't say enough about our camera crew tonight. We got great graphics, great angles, and hope we wind up here with a great game.
Yeah, it would be good. Personally, I'd like it to be a little bit larger win margin, but hey, I don't want to be greedy. But I really love this angle, not only for the free throw situation, because we can watch the follow through in that, but I think I like it so that we can maybe analyze some of the flow of the game and what are they doing against that 1-2-2 zone.
Yep. You know, it's funny. You can sit at the scoring table and see one game one way, go halfway up, or go all the way up, or go on the end. And wherever you go, you see different angles and see different things. So
well, and Jerry, you and I have both been coaches, and so we know what it's also. It looks totally different. Also, if you're the head coach sitting on a bench, and you know, and what you see and how you can and focus on things.
Okay, Brookfield East, Patton's back in the game. Coach might figure down by 9. He can't let it get too far away from you. Now we got Adam Bratz in the game. I like Adam Bratz, a tough player. A kid that doesn't get a lot of playing time, doesn't sit there and pound. When he comes in, he gives you 100%. He's had some good games when he's been in.
He is. He's a hard-working player. He's a senior, and he's doing everything he can in terms of practice, and his effort's great. And you know, this is one of those games where you try to get everybody in. You try to give everybody a shot to look pretty good.
And like I said, it's team chemistry, you know, and I think they got some real good chemistry on this team. Now, Bratz is drawn, I believe Raymond's out front here. Check that, he's got Cal Curtis.
Yeah.
All right, Falls playing better, much better defensively, I believe. Look at that, they're challenging him. That pen, yep. Ooh. I'm going to catch Falls with a foul here, but boy, we had 5 guys inside. That defense had picked up.
Yeah. Well, you know, and the thing is, you know, I know Coach Siebert does a really good job of doing scouting reports and stuff, and I really think you got to look at, is the guy a right-handed player or a left-handed player? We overplayed the guy's left hand, and the guy's obviously a right-handed driver, and he drove right past our defender, and took it to the basket. You know, we got to tighten up. We got to realize you again try to avoid them doing what they want to do. If they're right-handed, make them go left. If they want to shoot the outside shot, force them to go inside. Take away what they like, and then you'll be surprised at how everything else will take care of itself.
East just brought in 2 players. Their tallest kid, 6'5", Dan Osgood, a junior, and maybe their quickest guard, number 34, Devontae Harper, who's going to put some pressure here on Cording. So you got Harper on Cording, and Cording gives it up to Paskey. Paskey comes across the half-court line. They double him. Ball stolen. Strip. I'm not sure what happened. They got Paskey with a foul.
Yeah. That's one of those calls that could go either way. I actually think Paskey hustled, got to the position, and the contact was initiated, you know, by the guy driving to the basket, the East player. But, you know, those things, it's 50-50. It can go either way. I just thought it was great hustle on Paskey's part. And remember, Paskey is the one that did such a great job, you know, really kind of keeping the Hamilton team from really getting into their rhythm and stuff. He just did an outstanding job trying to disrupt Cerrone and his effectiveness during the game on Tuesday night.
You know, we had a shot of our fans there, and I see some fans at other schools dressed up in costumes and colors and everything. Our fans are basketball fans. They're here to watch basketball and give our guys a lot of support. We got a good group of kids over there.
And you know, the thing is, it always helps when you're winning. Everybody wants to come in and do that. And, of course, our team this year has really, really been trying to win as many games, and they're on a little bit of a streak, and it certainly helps beating a crosstown rival.
It sure does. And the more games you win, you're in a better chance you get a home game in the second season, as you like to call it. That's the end of the quarter. Well, Bill, it's 30-24. Menomonee Falls is up as the team heads off in front of us. Kind of what we expected, or?
Yeah, I still think it's one of those things where I think the Falls is still trying to learn about how to build a lead and how to keep a lead and not just simply kind of let everybody back into the ball game. You know, East, you had a little bit of a lead that was building up, and all of a sudden, you know, they get a couple of threes, they get a couple of opportunities, we get a little bit lax on defense, and suddenly, you know, East thinks that they've got hope. You don't want to give a team that's 1-8 in the conference a lot of hope.
You know, you look at the score here, it's 30-24. That's and they're a three-point shooting team. That's 2 shots, and we got a tie game.
Yeah.
You know, and you're talking about talent-wise, I think there's a big gap, but, you know, it comes down to what you do on the court, you know.
Yeah. I think really, you know, when we go back, if we go back, you know, to our keys for the game, every time we did up-tempo, we looked good and we scored. Every time they slowed the game down and got their three-point shot, or, you know, they drive to the basket after, you know, passing and everything else and stuff, they look good. So, you know, it really is which style's going to dominate, and I'm sure that's what Coach Siebert's talking about at halftime.
If we have a minute here, I'd like to talk about our new coach, Coach Siebert, and Kevin Kempen. Some guys are reassigned. We got Coach Leffel, Dan Leffel with the freshman, Manvoy with the JV. I think I've looked back the last 9 home games at 3-3-3. They've lost 1 game. And Tulsa East knocking off Tulsa East freshman, and Tulsa East JV was big. And then coming along last week and knocking off Sussex top to bottom, all three teams. Says a lot about the program and about the coaches. I told Coach Love, I've watched every home game, that they've gone from just getting out of 8th grade to playing like sophomores now. And I said go down 13-0 tonight and come out on the end. Top end is very good. Same with the JV. The JV beat Callan tonight, Coach Matt Voigt's team, and it was a nip and tuck in. They were out winning by 3. Top players for that team is Jalen Ramey, C.J. Malone, who's a freshman, Steve Ross, Nate Dykeman, and Brian Olzak. Kevin Scroggins and C.J. Dwyer off the bench give him a big lift. But we want to congratulate that JV team. And now we've got all the junior innings out here who down the road, these kids as they walk out now, we'll hopefully be sitting here talking about them down the road.
Yeah, that's what you really have to build your base on. When you're building a program, you really have to make sure that the younger players feel a part of the future. They get excited. They want to come to the games. And, of course, tonight we're honoring the teams. But what we hope is that they're going to come and bring mom and dad to all the games and make it kind of a fun night for everybody. You know, in a town like the Falls, they really appreciate great entertainment on Tuesdays and Friday nights, and of course on the other nights, you know, when we have a wrestling meet, when we have a gymnastics meet, we have all these other activities, and really to have good quality athletics. And we gotta give Coach Mr. Petroff some kudos here. You know, he works very, very hard to make sure all of the athletic programs are very competitive. But look at the enthusiasm that you see out here. The kids are excited. They're wearing their T-shirts that they play basketball and the youth basketball. Of course, they have a Junior Indians program. They've got Y-ball. They've got all these other opportunities, and it's just neat to see all these volunteer coaches. Look at the dads out there. They're as proud as they can be and doing the best they can, teaching their sons and other people's sons how to play good ball.
You know, you mentioned Dave Petroff, and of course he's here again tonight. Dave has a bed here and sleeps most nights, I believe, because he's here when they close up and he's here when they open. But was it last year, Bill, that he was named the Southeast Athletic Director of the Year? Right. And, you know, we've got some other coaches. I know Kristen Stein is doing announcing. Her husband, Scott Stein, was Coach of the Year in the state of Wisconsin for soccer. We've got some excellent coaches. I know Scott's works with kids this age and all the way up. And it's something this community can be proud of. And as far as basketball, I lived here over 50 years. The Falls has never gone to state in boys basketball. And we've had some tremendous teams. Bob Wolf, who played in the NBA, lost some tough games. Brad Christensen broke his hand in a sectional semifinal. I had to play with basically a cast on his hand. So down the road here, I always tell when I coach my freshmen during the summer, your last game can be a sophomore, junior, your last game can be if you wind up not following it through. It can be in the regionals. It can be in the sectionals. Your last game could be in Madison. You're putting your shoes on and ready to go on that cold floor, and that's really what you're striving for.
And you know, and the thing is, those are memories that are just incredible. I mean, I was fortunate enough early in my career. I was able to take 2 teams to the Worcester State tournament, and it's just such a great memory to have all those kids working hard, working together, and then getting to something like that. And you know, those are still some of the best memories of when I was coaching. And I know for the players that played, it's even more important for them. And those are shots you just will never forget. And I know I've talked to those players over the years, and they remember all the good times. And of course, all the bad things already kind of fade away.
Yep,
and it's always the best things. Now here we have halftime stats. You want to go over these then?
Sure. We've got. Well, I'll take the Falls here. We got Adam Rubat with 6 and Jean-Pierre Tokoto with 6. I don't know how many rebounds he's got, but it shows nice balanced scoring. Now we've got one guy with 14, and we've got 30 points. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Brookfield East, though, if you look at what you got here, you got Greg, who's, again, their sophomore, is 8, but coming off the bench, Raymond's hitting those 2 big threes out there, and that kind of gave him a shot in the arm. And that's the guy that, if you're not careful, you don't want him to suddenly get the hot hand, and he's hitting 3 after 3 after 3. So you got to remember we've talked about this before. The way you stop a great shooter, especially a hot shooter, is you don't let him get the ball. Because once he's got the ball, there's not much you can do about it.
That's right.
And so you got to really, really play denial defense. Once he's got it, if you can't stop him, he's going to get to the free throw line, or he's going to do something like that. So
and their top 2 scorers are 2 sophomores. So
right.
It says a lot about their program, what they're trying to build there.
Yeah, they're doing the tough job right now. It's tough to hang in there when the record isn't all that great.
Okay, we're going to break away here. Take a little break. The score is 30-24, and we'll be coming back for the second half momentarily.
How about that pep band?
There we go. That's nice to have them here on a Friday night.
Mount Falls Pep Band under the direction of Steve Johnson.
They do a good job. You know, I had my daughter play basketball here, and I had 3 daughters, and 2 of them were in the band, but I was just as proud as when she was in the, what do you do, the band review before Christmas, and you go to their concerts and stuff, and they're just tremendous. We've got some really good musicians here.
That's really true. The band program is outstanding.
Okay, it appears that we're back. A halftime score, Menomonee Falls 30, Brookfield East 24. Bill, you reminded me down the road here we're going to do a girls' game. Is that true?
Yeah, it's coming up next week. We're still in negotiation with the Milwaukee Bucks. We're hoping that we can maybe do the Monday night game, which is actually a Monday afternoon game, and that's where the girls will play at the Bradley Center, and then, of course, the Bucks game is right after that. So we're kind of hoping that that'll work out, but that's not for sure. But probably later next week we're hoping to get one of those games in. And the girls team has been, they've been working hard. I know Coach Amundsen is very excited about the effort that the kids have had. It's a kind of rebuilding year for them, but they've done a nice job. And I got to just say one other thing. We were fortunate enough, we were starting to listen to the pep band at halftime, and we're so glad, we're so proud of our music program here. This is under the direction of Steve Johnson. The kids played outstanding, and they're just such great musicians, and it really adds that special flavor to a Friday night basketball game to have our musicians helping us out and get all celebrated here.
Well, when I was in high school back in the dark ages, actually I graduated in '68, but when I went to lacrosse, I ran the guy, and I can't remember his name, from Homestead, and was a basketball player all conference, and we talked. I said I was from the Falls, and he said we used to love to come to play at your place. They would play songs from movies, and we'd go. He said nobody had a band like the Falls band. He says we would tell like the freshmen in JV, stick around because these guys can really play, and that tradition still continues to this day.
Well, I was very fortunate when I was head basketball coach at Dominican. We actually had a jazz band that played, and they brought in electric guitars, and they had a drum set and everything else, and it wasn't big. It wasn't because Dominican's pretty small, but I tell you, it just adds that extra special night. We just kind of, and I think ever since then I've loved jazz music, so that's kind of a cool thing to remember.
Okay, on the way out of the locker room, we grabbed one of the assistant coaches and he said, "Can you give us a tip? What you talked about? What kind of strategy?" He says, "No strategy. It's effort." He said the effort isn't there all the time. He says the effort's coming in spurts. He said we talked about effort, and really they came up with 3 minutes to go. A lot of times, team will come up right before the end of the half. There's nothing secret. The effort wasn't there, and that's what he's looking for. So.
And I think what you have to remember is that sometimes some coaches really focus on what are you going to do in the first 3 to 4 minutes of the third quarter, because you got to establish who's going to take charge in this second half. And so hopefully the Falls is fired out to give that consistent, excellent effort, and we'll find out after about 3 or 4 minutes of this third quarter.
And I imagine looking on the other side of the coin, their coach says we're right in this game. They're a better team, and we might have them right where we want them. Becker inside with the ball. Becker with the putback. Boy, those just ain't dropping. Oh, looks like we got to travel. Fall get the ball back.
Lee Becker's got to be just a little frustrated. He gets a couple of shots inside, didn't get any of them to fall. And, East is being very, very physical, and that's what they have to do. They have a size disadvantage, and, of course, they really don't want them to get easy shots.
Okay, ball's inbounded to Jonathan Phillips. Swings out to Tokyo. Tokyo looking at it. Nice bounce pass to Phillips. Waits. Phillips goes up.
Yeah.
The last couple of games, we needed big baskets. Jonathan Phillips has got them for us.
Well, and you notice what they did on that one was there was a penetration, and then Phillips snuck in on that baseline. That's what you do against some of the zones in that 1-2-2. If they're still in it, that's what they have to do.
Yeah, we got a foul on the other end.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those reach fouls. It's one of those things that if you hit it just right, you can actually strip the ball, but you're a little bit off. You're going to hit the hand, and, of course, they're going to call that foul every single time. It's a little obvious.
So they're sending the sophomore C.J. Gregg to the line. We also want to remind everyone that this game will be on fallscableaccess.com, the website, on streaming video. There's a lot of other good programs out there from Falls Cable Access, so you get a chance. If you don't, it doesn't fit in your TV schedule, sit on the computer and you can check the game out there. Okay, we'll rebound by Becker over to Jean-Pierre Tokoto. Nice smooth move inside. Boy, that ball just isn't dropping for him tonight, but that one did.
Yeah, and again, notice again the domination on the rebounds. They put the ball up nice and strong on the backboard. That's what Tokudo's got to do. That's what Becker's got to do. That's what Phillips got to do. You notice they came back, and they've got the strong, big, tall lineup again, and let's see if they can get more points. I think that was the original intent, was they wanted to go with that lineup. They really felt that was important, and now all of a sudden, boom, boom, they scored 2 baskets, and now it's a 10-point lead instead of the 6-point lead that we had at half.
Okay, now, Coach, they called, Brookfield East called a timeout. What do you tell your kids in that timeout?
Well, number one, you can't let these big guys get all these shots inside. I mean, you know, they're doing the best they can. But I think what you have to do when you got the size disadvantages, you gotta front those guys in the low post, and then you got to pressure the ball. A lot of people don't realize that defense is not just about one guy playing defense against another guy. It's about pressuring the ball and then pressuring the guy that they're trying to throw the ball to. And it's really that's what's so beautiful about defense, is that it's a team effort.
Yep.
One guy can't stop everybody.
Well, I always say, too, it's like rebounding. Rebounding is, there's a science to it, but it's effort. You know, you got to want the ball more than the other guy does.
Well, and, you know, we used to preach about the fact that rebounding is position and desire. Doesn't have anything to do with height. It's position and desire.
Yep. The other thing I want to mention, too, while we're out of here is the referees, and you haven't noticed them. They've been in control of the game. You know, nothing, that's what you like to see. Although there's a couple of parents who thought it was a traveling there. But that was a long 3. Rebound by Corning. I didn't realize Corning was that big. He's 6'1". He's a big point guard. Down there goes Baldwin down the line. Well, it was a nice. He used the backboard.
And that's a travel. Yeah, we've had a couple of those situations where a guy goes up really high, gets his hand on the ball, and then when he comes down, that's that, again, because the foot is 1 point, and then if his butt hits the floor, excuse the expression, then suddenly you got to travel. And that's a tough call.
Jonathan Phillips to the floater. Rebound by Corning. Out to Baldwin. Baldwin on the left side into Becker. Becker up strong as usual. And gets fouled on the play. Nice inside pass by Baldwin.
Yeah, great inside pass. And again, it looks like that's what they also talked about at halftime, is you're going back with a big lineup. Let's get that ball inside. Now, I'm sure Lee's a little frustrated because he is getting fouled. But, you know, Lee's pretty strong. We talked about this last time. He's pretty strong in the upper body, and he really should be able to make the shot and then get the free throw. This way he's making it a hard 2 instead of an easy 3.
And you just talked about us having a big lineup. He put in there a big guy, Dan Osgood, 6'5" junior. Probably a match up with us. Becker attempting his second free throw. That's also good.
I tell you, that's much more like the Becker we saw the other night shooting the free throws. You know, nice and strong. Again, big follow through. And notice, it's a post player, so it's not just the guards that can make the free throws.
Nice penetration there by Osgood. Got the ball over to Cal Curtis.
Got to stop the penetration, and then you got to get that first pass.
36-26. Jonathan Phillips, little jumper in and out. Anyway, ball coming down court. Brookfield East ball. Cal Curtis with it. Dan Osgood looking inside.
We got to get weak side help. No, weak side help. See, and it looked like Phillips was trying to get around and front the low post, but he got there too late, and the ball was a nice pass inside there, and not good.
Corning down line. Here we go, Bill. That's
this isn't our style.
36-28, 5:50 left. Falls up by 8. It's they're playing some tight defense here. C.J. Gregg on the outside. Cal Curtis, long 3.
Well, it looks like nobody really wanted that ball. Luckily, Baldwin go in after it and got it.
Got Jean-Pierre with the ball. Tokuto over to Phillips. We got Becker posting inside. You either got to get on the ball, it's going to be 3 seconds, one or the other.
Yeah, and they're picking up another foul inside there, East.
It's going to be their second. Well, that's a third on their big guy, Dan Osgood. And it's their team's second. Ball's inbounded. Over to Phillips. Whoa, had a nice shirt grab on Tokuto. Tokuto, a little move. Phillips is posting up really.
Yeah, see, you know, the one-handed pass is something that maybe at some point you can do, but you really have to have a strong, concentration to get a good pass to the post. And I think Phillips would have benefited from just a little bit stronger post pass.
Okay, here we go. We got Dan Patton on the left-hand side. They got the Falls extended defensively. 15. Ball's over. Down Patton down the lane.
Yeah, see, we're just not denying the penetration. I mean, they're going to look pretty doggone good if we just let them drive down the lane like that. We got to sink to the lane, and we got to deny the penetration.
Well, Becker was triple teamed, and he was fouled. And I believe that's going to be the 4th foul on Osgood, if it's on him.
Yeah, they definitely did not want Greg to pick up any more fouls, so they put Osgood on him.
Now, you're bringing in a little shorter guy, number 3. I think that's Colin DeVoe. He's 6'2" junior. Oh, I think you really got to go to Becker. See if Phillips dumps it off to him. No, Phillips at the jumper.
Yeah, that's their situation. I think their plan is we're going to just kind of get physical with Becker and hope that he doesn't score anything. Nice
rebound by Courting. Courting's playing a nice, solid all-around game tonight. Pass over to...
There you go.
Connor Bowen, the assassin. Connor will get you that big basket when you need it.
And what's nice to see is that when they get their flow going in the fast break situations, they look for each other and they see guys spotting up. And Bodwin is very patient, and he understands that if this penetration stuff is taking place, all they got to do is kick it back out to him, and he's ready. Those young players watch Bodwin as he catches, squares to the basket, steps right into his shot, and nice follow through. You can tell by just the way it just tickles the net as it goes through.
Well. Okay, Falls, set the situation here. It's 38-30, 4:57 left in the third quarter. I believe the Falls has all their timeouts left. And Brookfield East has even taken 1 or 2. I almost said Sussex Hamilton. Hard to get that game out of my mind the other night. It was a big win for the Falls.
Well, the only thing that we said what's going to happen in the first 3 to 4 minutes. Now, technically, what we've done is we've only built the lead by 2. And so I don't think we're exactly where we wanted to be. I think we probably wanted to extend the lead more than 6. We wanted to give us a little bit more breathing room. And right now it's still 8. And like you said before, that 3-point shot can hurt us if we let them have it.
I tell you, another big rebound by Tokoto. And, some team, everybody wants to look in the paper and say, geez, he's the best player, he's got the most points. Without Tokoto's rebounds, we wouldn't be in this game right now.
Look at that hustle. Look at that hustle. Phillips got the ball, went down a little bit low, and, of course, what did they do? East did exactly what you got to do when a big guy puts the ball low. They all collapsed on it, and they're all diving for it. And, of course, in high school ball now, it's the alternate possession, and so it's obviously East's turn to have it. In the old days, I kind of liked it when they used to throw the ball up, and then it was actually a skill to be able to jump and tip the ball to somebody else.
And quite frankly, I think jump balls that are forced by the defense should go to the defense. That's my own personal, unsolicited opinion.
Yeah.
All right, East going to try another one of their long threes, and they miss it. Becker with the rebound. Guys all over him. Oh, he was all over Becker. I don't know if it's frustration, but and a lot of big guys, you get butchered pretty good.
Yeah, and
Lee can build up.
Lee's showing just a little bit of frustration, and now what Lee has to do is realize that this is his opportunity to refocus his energy. Instead of worrying about a guy hanging on his arm and everything else, he's got to put him away by scoring points and being patient and not losing his cool. Notice he's got that number 3, the little guy DeVoe.
Yep.
Little guy 6'2", but they're trying to be physical again.
Then last stoppage of play. 2 subs for the Falls. We got Donnie Matovich, a senior in, and Adam Rubon, number 20, who's on the ball right now. There we go. Nice Jonathan Phillips dropped off there. Good help defense you were talking about. And good pressure defense. He's all over him. Now we got Donnie Matovich, real quick feet.
There's a penetration. Oh, push off there.
Donnie Matovich, I believe, had a punt return for a touchdown against Brookfield East during the football season. He got 6 in him. Let's see him get. Let's get him a big 3 here. Oh, traveling on Lee Becker.
Now you see. What Lee's got to realize is that when he caught the ball in the post, he had a guy double down on him, and he caught the pressure. And so what happened was he lost his footing and then got the travel. He can't force it up. Just got to remember, if you got 2 guys on you, somebody's open.
Yep. Another substitution for the Falls. Connor Cassidy's back in, number 12.
Now here's our wide angle. Let's see if we can see some of the action of how they move the ball and what kind of defense we're playing. There's the vacuum sweeper.
Boy,
I'm telling you,
he is just cleaning up
that
tonight.
Ball's up there. He takes it down.
And he's going down the lane. Rebound by Becker and a putback. That was set up by Tokoto's drive, wasn't it?
And I love that camera angle. I'm telling you, what a great drive by Tokoto. Notice he took the ball left-handed towards the basket, It would have been nice if he could have finished, but obviously Becker was right there for the second shot. And again, Becker's just got to be totally frustrated. He gets those shots close to the basket. He should be shooting for 3, on that extra free throw instead of just going for 2 here.
And isn't that a great shot and a great camera angle?
Yeah.
I know we got Jim Davies and Alyssa Demji here tonight again on camera, and Harry Stetzel, the director. And once again, doing a great job. But that's the envy of a lot of local cable access stations have an angle like that.
Absolutely. There's not a lot of cable access channels that do what they do here, and it's a real source of pride for the community, and it's outstanding for the school district as well.
Okay, Brookfield East coming across. Falls up by 10, 40-30, 2:50 left in the third quarter. Brookfield East swinging it outside. Dan Patton, one of their long bombers. Long rebound. Falls want to move it up. They got in Menomonee's hand. He's looking inside, being hand-checked. Ball's over to Cassidy. I thought we're going to get Falls up here with a foul.
Yeah, Tokido over the back on that one. That was position and desire. They had the inside position, and they were very, very strong. And Tokido was trying to just go over the top and hopefully not make the contact. But as the guy backed up and boxed him out, there was contact, and the ref called it against him.
Yep.
That is only the first foul on Tokido, though.
Okay, here we go. Brookfield East has got the ball. Steal.
Yeah, actually, it was a steal by Rubat, but unfortunately they called a double dribble. When he was trying to regain control, he got 2 hands on the ball at the same time.
Okay, here we go. He got a shot at the clock. 2:22, 40-30, Menomonee Falls. Foul situation, we have 2, and Brookfield East has 5. 2 more, and the Falls being a bonus, which could turn out to be key. The Falls been knocking down a lot of threes. Brookfield East brings it up. Right-hand side. Devontae Harper. Ball's over to Patton. I tell you, they've been running a lot of back doors all night.
Yeah, because we're trying to be so aggressive defensively, that's what's happening.
Might have been a good point there to pull it out, but you're going to push it up court, and Tokido drew a foul. That'll be the 6th, I believe.
And I really, it'll be interesting to see some of the numbers here that we're going to end up with at the end of the game. I think Brookfield East is going to really have a lot of fouls, and they're going to end up having a couple of guys in foul trouble. Yep. Right now, I think they're trying to bring in a whole bunch of people and realizing that each guy gets 5 fouls, and they've probably got 8 or 9 deep right now, so they're going to use all 40 or 50 fouls tonight.
Okay, try to inball the ball underneath to Tokido. It appears that Jonathan Phillips is checked in for Becker.
There's a lot of hanging and grabbing on right now, Brookfield East. So you notice Tokido was doing a jersey pull. Usually the jersey pull means you're tired, but he was just trying to explain to the officials that there's a lot of pushing and grabbing and shoving.
And that official stepped in at just the right time. It's an intense game. Close action. Any contact sport, you're going to have things like this. And we're going to get 25 with a hole. That's Dimitri Tongas. And it won't be long. The next time he's going to call a push-off. Now, Coach Siebert's seen enough. Calls the freshman over, and they're going to give him a little lesson here. That'll pay off down the road. Tokido nods. Everything's going to be good. That's a team 7th. Jean-Pierre is going to step to the line and for a bonus here.
This is really critical. You got to, again, their strategy is we're going to follow you, and you got to make your free throws if that's their strategy.
Jean-Pierre Tokido, freshman.
Sit down.
Here we go. Adam Rubin's got the ball. A little stoppage there. The ball's inside to Jonathan Phillips. Donnie Matters with the ball. And Matters looking right-hand side. Rubat got a little ball across the face, though. Rubat's tough kid. Ball's out to Rubat. They're extending their defense. Their effort is definitely...
They're back in a 1-2-2 is what they're doing, but they're being aggressive. It's almost like a matchup zone, trying to cover the high post. This is a time when you need to attack the baseline. In a 1-2-2, if they're that aggressive, you got to hit that.
Donnie Matovich for 3. 44-30. Big shot by Matovich. Force needs to take a timeout.
Well, you know, and if you can hit the 3 or if you can attack the baseline against this 1-2-2. The 1-2-2 is trying to be aggressive. They realize that man-to-man is not probably their best suit. So what they're doing is they're playing a 1-2-2, but they're coming out on the ball, and that's called a matchup zone, and they're being aggressive on that. But I tell you, when they extend themselves, that means somebody's open. Right now, they're trying to cover the 3 guys across from the free throw line all the way out to the perimeter on either wing. Now they're going to need to start attacking the baseline, or it's nice when you hit the three-point shot. Looks also good, too.
Got a good shot of our fans here, a lot of burgundy and black in the crowd there. You can see it's back, but you want to come on a Friday night or on a Tuesday night, boys or girls, we'll find room for you, one side or the other. And somebody I was talking to the other night says that, it was his first high school game in a number of years. He goes, I've gone to Bucks game. He goes, I can't believe how good these kids play. And it's very good basketball here. So.
It really is, and it's a great community event. And you saw as our little logo out there, the Falls Pride. Really, this has been an effort to try to return the pride to the Falls with all of the efforts of the Capital Improvement Campaign and the Booster Club. They've raised $1 million actually without using any taxpayer money to be able to do some of the renovations that are connected to athletics, and it's just been a great effort by the community. And again, thank you to the Capital Improvement Campaign and our Booster Club.
And we get to the end of the third quarter, we'll talk about that new sign that's going to go up in the spring. How about that?
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, here we go. Ball's down in the right-hand corner. A minute to go. Falls up by 14. And a basket. There, good time. Good time out by Brookfield East. They come out of it, they get a basket, and they're going to the free throw line.
See, and that's, what happened there again is the same thing that you mentioned before about the backdoor cut. It's one thing, you got to play denial defense, but you just can't let them get the back door on you. And you just got to realize that when you don't see them out there in your eyes, if you don't keep your eye on the ball and the man again, they're going to get that backdoor cut. So we can't do that, and even if they do get the backdoor cut, there's got to be weak side help.
I know Coach Dennis Sullivan from St. Mary's always calls it puppy dog defense, where you trail a guy. You can't be trailing. You got to, Adam Rubat? Well, I didn't get to say it. Nice rebound by Cassidy. Brought it right back out. Strong rebound. Cassidy looking inside, down the lane, back out. Rubat doesn't have the stroke tonight, but it's still early. He's got to, I shouldn't say that. He was our leading scorer at halftime. So Donnie Matters down the lane, back out to Rubat. Rubat right down the lane, and he was fouled. Rubat going line shooting 2. We got 38.8 left. Falls up by 11, 44-33. And Matt Rubat, Adam Rubat step into the line.
Yeah, you're getting your generations mixed up there. You got to be careful.
I announced his brother for a number of years here, and I have the same trouble with the Matheson girls.
Okay.
Carly and Caitlin, we got Hannah and Haley coming up, and I'm going to have that same situation.
To me, it looks like he's probably just rushing things a little bit. We talked about that before. You want to be quick, but you don't want to rush. And in a free throw situation, it's just a natural rhythm. And let's see if he can regain that on this one.
Tokerto, I think they're going to call for over the back, and he might have been undercut, but it's referee call. Well, Falls only up by 11. Yeah, you like to see have a double-digit lead going to the fourth quarter.
Now, I notice they're bringing out the defense. It's almost the full court press. They're just picking them up in the long there, and then, of course, the guys are pulling out, so it's really just a one-on-one, kind of a soft, full court man-to-man.
Let's see if they try to go back door again, Bill. Devontae Harper. Patton the long one for a 3. 8-point game. So, like I said, it's Cassidy up court here. Let's get a basket here before the end of the half. Cassidy down the lane. Jump stop. Tokerto with a swipe. Rubat with the ball. Other way. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and a layup. Boy.
I tell you, those types of things will just drive coaches to either lose their hair like I did or turn totally gray.
Back here, going to start the fourth quarter. Menomonee Falls up by 6, 44-30. Bill, briefly, can you tell us about the new sign that's going to go out in the high school in the spring?
Well, again, it's one of the efforts of our capital improvement campaign, and it's going to be a really deluxe sign. It's going to be right out on Appleton Avenue, and it's going to be a digital sign with very bright colors in the background. And, of course, one of our major contributors on this project was the Community Memorial Hospital, and we really appreciate their contribution and all the efforts of the capital improvement campaign. But we're going to be able to change the message from indoors, especially in the wintertime. I'm telling you, moving those letters out there, I always felt bad for our custodial crew who's done a great job over the years with the old sign, but the new sign is just going to be phenomenal. We'll be able to change things much more frequently and keep things up to date and remind people about events that are taking place on a daily basis.
A sign like that benefits every kid in this school, whether you're in band reviews, wrestling meets, JVs, also teacher conferences. You can't sneak one by on your parents if they drive by there.
Right.
Report cards, all kinds of things, and like I said, you can do it indoors in this climate. All right, Falls turn the ball over, 7:44 left, up by 6, almost where we were at halftime, right, Bill?
Yeah.
That third quarter turned out to be a wash. You're up by 14, and you're going to have to do it with defense. We got Adam Rubat in there. Ball's outside. Connor Bodwin, Adam Rubat. Nice tip there by Jonathan Phillips. We've also got John Cording and Max Paskey checked into the lineup.
And Phillips has been hustling on the defensive end. He's trying like heck to at least get a deflection. And, sometimes deflections are as valuable as steals just because maybe another one of the players can maybe pick it up.
Okay, here we got balls on the right-hand side. Adam Rubat out on Devontae Harper, moving his feet well. And Paskey, I believe, has Raymond's. There's Paskey. Paskey all physical anybody. Foul on Paskey. I thought it was good in-your-face defense, but...
Yeah, Paskey was able to be real physical on Tuesday night, but tonight they're calling it much, much tighter. Now, that's a good point that we probably should talk about is that you do have to adjust your game. If these officials are calling a little bit tighter than last Tuesday night, you got to make adjustments.
Big shot there by C.J. Gregg, the junior. 4-point game. Menomonee Falls up 44-40. Ball's out to Phillips. Head fake and the floater. Off the board.
They called the bank shot, didn't
He either called it or he's playing horse, and the next guy's going to get an H if you don't bank it.
I'll give it to him. I don't think we should take it away. Just
on the board it counts as 2, right?
Yeah, right.
It's like ugly wins. They're W's, and they're hard to get. Ball's way another long one. And Phillips hit the rebound. Ball's over to Cording. Ball's up by 6, 6:36 left. Johnny Cording looking inside. Ball over to Rubat. Rubat in the nice pass from Paskey to Phillips, and they call Phillips to the travel.
And Phillips got the ball exactly where he wanted it, which was right in the lane. But I think he was so surprised that he didn't have the contact at that moment because he's been kind of pushed around a little bit and everything else that he actually kind of shuffled his feet before he actually went up for the soft shot.
Okay, Falls in that substitute. We got Lee Becker back in, number 32, and Jean-Pierre Tokuto, number 24. And it looks like Becker has Harper.
Travel there by East.
Well, Devontae Harper's 5'8", Lee Becker's 6'5".
You think that's a mismatch?
No,
Sure.
It's a mismatch, but it'll be interesting. Okay, now they're going to apply some pressure. I guess you're down by 6, 6:17 left. Not a bad move. Ball comes into Connor Bodwin. There's a shot from our new camera again. Ball's into Tokuto. Tokuto looking inside. Tokuto right away goes to Becker. Oh, and Becker cannot get that ball to drop. Of course, you got two guys hanging on you. What are you going to do?
Yeah, that's why, again, Becker's got to do what he did the last time, which is go up and hit both of the free throws. What's interesting about this particular game is, in some ways, it's following the same pattern that we saw, on Tuesday night. They built up a pretty good lead, and then all of a sudden they let the other team back in, and all of a sudden now we're forced to build another lead.
Yep.
And so far, we're back on the track now. We've got 6 minutes now, and we've got to just continue to control the ball game, get our shots, and if, again, they're going to use the foul philosophy, we got to get up there and hit the free throws when they give them to us.
I hear you. Man, a rebound by Tokuto. You're going to take it back outside. Oh, beautiful pass from Jonathan Phillips to Lee Becker.
That was a beautiful pass.
That was.
Just a nice soft touch, and then Becker again put it in nice and strong off the backboard.
It was our three big guys. You had Tokuto got the rebound, dumped it off to Phillips, and looked inside to Becker.
Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to work. And when you have three big guys all working together like that, and they don't care who scores, they just want to make sure that you get the good passes and everything else. They're going to be a tough combination to stop.
That's correct. Okay, we got Tokuto in the bottom. We've got pressure now in the backcourt. We got Harper on Johnny Cording. Johnny Cording's a good ball handler, though. Looking it over, coming around, either hand. Ball goes over to Tokuto. Tokuto sets his man up with a crossover down the lane. Floated double clutch.
That was a nice move. Strong take to the baseline. He got the step on him and then puts it up. And, of course, that forces the coach to take a timeout. Suddenly it's an 11-point lead.
Now, a wise man told me last game, what you can't do is let the other team score with the clock stop. It's 51-40. Similar situation to last game.
Very similar.
5:35 left.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things where you got to understand and learn how to build a lead. And again, we know that this is a program that has been learning how to win and being more consistent out there, both in terms of effort, like we talked about at halftime, but also in terms of and what do we do to preserve and build a lead. And I think that's critical. You do not want them scoring when the clock is turned off, just like it happened Tuesday night. So if we can be aggressive and avoid the fouls down the stretch, and then it should work out well for us. I think that's a real positive philosophy. On the other hand, I also don't believe that offensively you just kind of sit by and don't do anything. You can't lose your rhythm. You really have to continue to look for good shots, but don't force anything.
Okay. Real quickly, too, we want to remind everyone we will be televising a girls' game next week. We want to congratulate the girls the other night. In a tough season, they went out and visited Sussex Hamilton and beat them by 1. And that is not an easy environment to play in out there. So congratulations to Coach Amundsen and Coach Kurt. And also, your new freshman coach Shane Cox has done a tremendous job with those girls. And Katie Recklitz has turned her team around, and they're playing very well, too. So congratulations to all three girls teams and their coaches. Okay, we got Devontae Harper bringing the ball up court. Patton taking a look. Now, they've come out of timeouts every time Billings scored. Let's see what happens here. Oh, Patton took a look. That's Courting 6-1 on him.
Nice recovery by Courting and avoided the shot by Patton on the three-point line.
Well, let's see if we can hold him without scoring this one now. So, ball's inside. It was kind of a...
the help from Becker came over, but it was a little bit late. He hesitated. You can't hesitate when you're coming over to help out.
Okay, we're at the 5-minute mark. Menomonee falls up 51-42. Ball's to Tokto looking inside. Becker, we got our big guys outside. Courting dumps it into Phillips. Phillips looking for someone crumbing across. It's Becker and Lee Becker going to the line.
Well, it's definitely the foul philosophy as we've been talking about, and Becker gets to go to that free throw line again. And like I said before, they're using they're going 8 to 10 deep on their bench, and what they're doing is again, think about this: you got 5 fouls for each guy. And you got 10 guys that are playing. So they're figuring we're going to use all 50 fouls tonight. And if you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us from the free throw line. And they really don't want you to take the easy shot. They don't really want you to get the layups or the fast break opportunities. They really want you to prove that you can make it. And again, for the young players out there, understand you've got to make the free throws when you get the opportunity. And then on the other end, you just don't put the other team on the free throw line. So tough D, no fouls is what we used to always call it.
Now, you mentioned you have 50 fouls. Well, one guy used all 5 of his. Dan Osgood has fouled out. So they've subbed for him. We got Lee Becker at the line. And Osgood was their big guy, 6'5", which would lead me to believe they're going to put the ball inside more. Also, I would think that they're going to pressure us a little more now.
Yeah.
Figuring they got a little quicker team.
Well, and it also means that Greg's going to have to pick up one of the big guys, and Greg, of course, could then get in foul trouble as well.
No.
Now, Becker is just not doing the follow-through. He's not focusing on his target as well as he could. Yeah, see it.
Yep. Okay, falls up 51-42, up by 9. Right in there.
And here's what's going to happen. If they continue to foul and we don't make the free throws, they're just going to keep it up because they're getting a chance now. We didn't score. They got the ball back, and of course they want to score and get closer and closer.
They have inside passing has been really good for Brookfield East. Falls is up by 7. The Falls is in the super bonus though, so they will shoot 2 every time. But somebody's going to have to step up and get a bucket for the Falls because right now it's a 7-point game and it's anybody's ball game. And who steps up? The freshman down the lane, Courting with a rebound. Steps back out. White Patton is playing ferocious defense. Tokoto with the floater, short.
And JP sometimes he gets a little bit too soft. I know that it's hard to imagine that, but we always talk about a taller player, bigger player, if you can have that soft touch. I actually think the last 2 shots that JP took are actually too soft. Yep. He actually needs to be a little stronger with the ball and shoot with a little bit more intensity.
He just got a rebound. They call him for traveling. The thing is, we've got 3 more years here with Jean-Pierre, and watching him develop, and I look how much how Becker's built himself up in some of these big guys. The way Jean-Pierre can move and everything else, he gets a little bit stronger. And like I said, we got to remember, last year's playing 8th grade basketball, and he just steps right in and does a really good job.
And Phillips is a little frustrated here. He really felt that he got his hands on the ball at the same time that Greg did. And instead, the way they saw it was that he actually went through the body of Greg to be able to get to the ball and get his hands on it. So, of course, Greg's shooting the free throw, and Phillips has got another foul.
And here we're in a situation. Clock stopped. They're shooting free throws. And that is the 4th foul on Phillips. They're going to sub him and bring in Rubat. Maybe, I don't know if it's going to work to our advantage. It's another smaller ball handler. But the Falls going to have to put some. You're not going to walk out here with 51 points and win this game. You're going to have to score a little bit. It's 51-2. Nice rebound again by Tokito. 51-45. Menomonee Falls up by 6. Long pass to Rubat. Looking down court. Falls out to Courting. Got Rubat. I would look to Becker or to Connor Baldwin in this situation. Johnny Courting. Becker,
Boy, that was a push in the back. It was
a
shame that they didn't see that.
Yeah. Now they're looking up at the ball. Devontae Harper stutter step. Daniel Patton, if he hits this 3, over the top. 3:16 left, Falls up by 6. 51-45. I would imagine pretty soon Coach Siebert might be digging in those timeouts he's been saving.
Yeah, Coach Siebert likes the up-tempo game, and so he really doesn't want to use a lot of timeouts to slow the game down. But East has been using a lot, and they're trying to slow it down if they can.
John Courting down the lane. And Coach Siebert just took a timeout.
Yeah, and that's one of those strategies. You want to take a timeout if at all possible to take it right when you do something good. And in that particular case, you suddenly you got back to an 8-point lead with a layup that he made there and everything else. And now what he really wants to do is talk about what are we going to do down the last 3 minutes here. Defensively, is he going to maybe change something up? Is he going to be a little bit more aggressive? Is he going to try to deny Patton the ball because you don't want Patton to get hot at this particular stretch? Greg, of course, is still in there and has not really been picking up the fouls. Maybe what you want to do is an isolation. If Greg is actually guarding whoever he's guarding, if it's on Becker or if he's on Tokito, take the ball and give it to that man and see if he can get maybe a couple more fouls on Greg. That might be a good strategy down the stretch here.
Now, the other part of the equation, too, is I'm sure they're going to be following us. We're going to have to knock our free throws down the last 3 minutes. And we talked the other night about kids. It's nice to stand in the driveway and take those 3-pointers. It's nice to work on the spin moves. At the end of a game, you got to have kids in the game that can knock down free throws. I used to tell my kids, some were upset about not starting. It doesn't matter who starts, it matters who finishes. I could pick 5 guys to start. At the end of the game, if you're playing well, you're going to be in there. However, if you can't make free throws, somebody else will be taking your spot.
And we used to always talk about the fact that, don't worry so much about who starts. You want to know who finishes.
That's right. And it's a good, we've talked earlier about your form. Work on those free throws at home. That's something you can do all by yourself. All right, we set the stage. 3 minutes to go. Falls is up by 8, 53-45. East is going to take those threes. I said he had 9 last game. Patton down the lane. Patrick, good defense by Courting. They still scored. 6-point game, 53-47.
It's still a 6-point lead. That's what was at halftime. You got to give East all the credit in the world. They're staying tough. They're hanging tough.
Bill, there was a strong move by Tokito.
That was a much stronger move. I think he just maybe lost a little focus on that square on the backboard there, because that's what you got to do. As you're getting beat up and pushed around a little bit, you got to just make sure that the ball gets to the right spot on that square up there. And if you do that, the ball's going to go in, and then you're going to be shooting that extra free throw.
That was a nice entry pass. I believe that was by Courting. Nice stroke.
That's what you got to do. Nice and calm. Just put it through.
It sets the situation as a fall situation. Once again, Brookfield East is in the super bonus. Menomonee Falls has 7 fouls. So on a non-shooting foul, it's 1-1. In and out. Becker aggressive with the rebound. And they're going to push it up court. They know time is not on their side. 54-47, 2:26 left. Baldwin on the ball. On the left side, Rubat switches. Gonna have to hustle. They're going to get his back door built. And there's Tokito out of nowhere. Nothing like having a big swat back there. And he kept the ball in bounds.
Help side defense, but we're not boxing out.
Going to use a baseline. Spin move.
No. My goodness.
And put back.
I'll tell you, there was a lot of contact there. 2 guys go down, and obviously didn't think there was enough contact to go one way or the other.
54-49, 147 left. Ruba with the ball out high, over to Tokito. Becker stealing inside. Tokito took a peek, and a floater. Missed it. Rebound to Brookfield East. Dan Patton, 135 left, falls up by 5. Dan Patton out high, John Corning on him. Lee Becker on the ball, and they're going to go up. Nice little half hook. 3-point game, 54-51, 123
Greg is
left.
feeling it now. He's taking the ball strong, and he's taking it to the senior, Becker, and he's able to find a shot and find a way to get it off. And
foul, Becker be going to the line shooting 2. Foul on Tongas outside. There's one of those fouls, 30 feet from the bucket, which you probably don't want, but if you got a shot at the steal, you go for it.
Now, remember we talked last game about the importance of what you do when you go to the free throw late in the game. You've been playing, you're a little bit tired and everything else. You got to make sure your legs are involved, make sure that the legs do most of the work on the free throw.
Becker nailed that one. Gives them Falls a 4-point cushion, which is big at this point. 112 left. 55-51. Becker attempt his second.
There we go.
Got a timeout, Coach Siebert. 112 left. 56-51.
Well, those were big. I mean, because again, he had missed, I think, 3 of his last 4 free throws, and for him to step up at this particular moment and actually be able to put those down, I think that was really, really big. We're in the 4th quarter now. We're looking at only a minute, 12 seconds to go, and it's definitely a situation where you got to just keep your cool, do the right things, don't rush your shot. Not to say you want to do any kind of slowdown, but if we've got the ball on the offensive end, it's okay for us to work the ball a little bit too. This might be one of those situations where we don't need to really rush our shot. We could probably spend a little bit of time, because now the longer we stay on the offensive end, the less chance East has to play on the offensive end for them. So think about these kind of changes in the tempo of the game. Right now, you don't need to be in a racehorse game. You need to just be able to control the game and do what you want to do.
And make your free throws. Also, they've pretty much shaken the crowd out of it. We got full stands over there, and it's really pretty quiet over there. It'd be nice to get a breakaway and overplay and get a dunk and fire this place out.
I was just going to say, with our new cam, it would be nicer to pick up that dunk that we were hoping for last time. We had really nice dunk in the last game, and hopefully there's at least one more in this game.
Well, you think if they're going to cheat on defense, we might get a backdoor play on them. And okay, we got one of their big guys bring up C.J. Gregg. He's played a whale of a game for them. Outside, he's got Becker on him. Crossed over to Raymonds. 2 sophomores working back and forth. Lee Becker on a little cross. There we go. Corning. Becker. Here we go. Bill.
What's he calling? He's calling a technical?
He's probably calling for hanging on the rim. I don't. No, technical foul, hanging on the rim.
I tell you that is it's just a shame, because I tell you that was a great dunk. It was a great steal, outstanding play. Luckily, they give us the basket.
What call them.
I tell you, I've seen guys hang on the rim a lot, and that's not really a hanging on the rim. That was just an outstanding athletic effort, reverse dunk. I don't really see exactly what they saw.
And it could turn into a 5-point play. That's the bad thing. Now, it's 58-53, and we had just talked about firing the crowd. The crowd is fired up. They're fired up over the dunk, and they're fired up over the technical. So,
and what I would like to think is that the Falls now will get fired up defensively, because again, tough D, no fouls. That's what should be the mantra right now. Tough D, no fouls.
And they're going to call the Falls. They're going to go to the line. Bill, clock stopped. Here we go.
I tell you, remember we talked earlier in the ball game how the referees were not really seeming to be a part of the outcome here. And what's happening now is, for some reason, and maybe it's because the other team has been planting the seed about the physical nature and everything else, and now all of a sudden they're making calls that they did not make earlier in the game.
And Bill, we just had a big foul there over the back. We're going to send Max Paskey to the line.
Well, and I think, when we finally look at the final outcomes, again, we were talking about the number of fouls. I think there's going to be a heck of a lot of fouls. And again, if it was a foul earlier in the game, maybe we wouldn't be kind of pointing it out as much. But, earlier in the game, there was a lot of stuff that was going on, and they were letting them play, and that was fine. And we weren't noticing the officials. Now it seems like somebody has got kind of a different philosophy about things. Casey's got to hit these.
He's got to hit this, at least this one. Give the Falls a 4-point lead. That'd be big. There's 46 seconds left. As far as a jump ball, the possession arrow favors. There we go.
There you
the
go.
Possession arrow favors
nice stroke.
Brookfield East. So Patton's going to push it up court. They're going to look for a 3. A 3 or backdoor play.
A lot of pushing off there.
No. Greg, basically a long 3. Rebound comes down. Connor Cassidy. Connor Cassidy knows how to play.
I tell you, that was a hustle rebound. Kind of a loose ball, really not an official rebound, I guess. But, he saw the opening and he went for it and got the ball and, of course, forced them to foul right away because, obviously, they know they don't have a lot of time, 32 seconds left on the clock. And, again, big free throw right here.
Nice shot of Cassidy. I'm going to go on a limb. He makes them both. He makes the second one. But,
again, and anytime you come up short, young players, when you think about you come up short, it's always because of the legs. Your upper body doesn't really make that many mistakes. It's the lower body. You got to get those legs involved in the shot.
He makes this one. Falls will have a 7-point lead. A little short on that one also. But you're right, probably tired. 30 seconds left. Falls up 59-53. Dan Patton with the ball. We got 25 seconds left. Falls still has a 6-point lead. Looking inside, looking outside, down the lane. Dan Patton with a miss. Falls battling Lee Becker. Max Paskey with the rebound. And a foul on Patton. I think that might be Patton's. I checked that. I think that's only going to be his 4th. Going to send Max Paskey to the line with 16 seconds left.
And what happens is once you get to the super bonus, they stop putting the numbers up on the board.
Yeah.
Okay? But I can guarantee you this team's got more than 10 fouls. This team's definitely got more than 10 fouls.
There's a nice shot of Paskey. And a shooter's touch.
Now just slow down a little bit. Again, we don't want to rush your free throws. Get into your rhythm. Make sure you use your legs, and everything will be just fine.
Well, the Falls is actually, I think Brookfield has called timeout. And going to try to set something up here. Falls has a 7-point lead at this point in time. Paskey can push it to 8. It's been a tough game tonight. You look at the records, and I said last year, East came in here and beat the Falls. And a W is a W. And I think the Falls, Sussex Hamilton's your rival. You look to that game. You have a big win, and you come back, and it's hard to get it going again. I believe, I'm going to check the schedule here real quick. I'm not sure when their next home game. Next home game, I think, is the last game of the year.
I think you're right.
They're going to be hosting Brookfield Central on February 25th. They have 3 away games. They're going to be at West Dallas Central, Hartford, and at West Dallas Hale. Paskey nailed that one. Gives Falls an 8-point lead, 16 seconds left. Coming up, they're going to no fouls, right, Bill? There we go.
Right.
Basket. Timeout, Brookfield East.
I don't want to say anything, but they got to be running out of out of timeouts. Brookfield East has got to have almost all of them gone. But again, 6-point lead at this particular point. Remember the last game they played against Brookfield East, it was only a 4-point victory. I gotta say, in my opinion, this is a better team than they were the last time they played. Remember, again, Becker didn't play. And we got to be better than 2 points better than they were the last time. So maybe it's possible. You brought it up at the very beginning here. It's possible we might have been, looking a little bit ahead. Maybe we were kind of feeling a little overconfident because of the big win against Hamilton. But again, that's part of the learning and the growing that takes place with a team. And maybe this is a good lesson to learn at this particular point, that you got to come out every single game, give it your best effort, and you really can't just kind of assume the other team's going to lay down and die.
And you try. I'm not saying that they even took them overconfident. Just the fact that you come on, you're just flat sometimes. We're going to send Courting to the line, it looks like, 6.9.
Now, the other thing I just got to point out real quickly here about the fouls that are taking place, what you really have to focus on is sometimes these start to become intentional fouls. And if we get an intentional foul, then really, you're going to get the ball back. So in this particular case, I thought that was kind of like a bear hug, and, those are intentional fouls, and that really should be a situation where you may get the ball back as well.
Well, I had said earlier in the game that Courting didn't have his shooting touch. I don't think he's missed since I said that. He's played a whale of a game. But this goes back to your comments last game on learning how to win. This is the kind of game you could have thrown away. It could have lost. Rebound by Tokoto, puts it back up. Not a bad thing to do with 4 seconds left. They're going to foul you anyway. Final shot. This one is in the books. Final score, Menomonee Falls 62, Brookfield East 55.
It's a really, you know, it was great effort, but again, it's another win, and we'll take that at any time. This puts them actually over 500 in the Greater Metro Conference, so that's great. It puts them 2 games over 500 in their overall record, and again, this is the time of the year where you want to continue to build up your schedule, feel strong, get stronger, be smarter, because remember, second season is just around the corner.
Now, let's look ahead. We got February 13th, they're playing West Dallas Central. And their record, I'm not sure what it is going into tonight.
Actually, West Dallas Central is 3-6 in the conference, 7-7 overall.
Okay.
And that could be a tough game if you're not ready for it mentally.
Now we're going to go at West Dallas Hale. West Dallas Hale, I think, might be at the.
Yeah, actually, if you notice on our standings,
there we go.
they don't have a win yet, so we didn't even put them on the standings.
Oh, there you go.
They don't have a win, which is pretty unusual because Hale is traditionally have some pretty good talented athletes in that, and I'm a little shocked. I'm a little surprised. They usually have a pretty good basketball program.
Now, a big game coming up here is going to have Brookfield Central.
Right.
I think that graphic showed Brookfield Central at 6-3, though.
Yeah, 6-3 in the conference.
They really
They're in
are.
third place. They're in third place. And Central's been tough. They've had a lot of experience getting to the state tournament, and they're just an outstanding program. Great coach there, and they like being very competitive and doing a great job.
And going back to this game too, and I know what their record is. I know we beat them by 4 last time and by 7 this time. Some teams just match up better against you, right?
Yeah.
And whether it's a bigger team or a smaller team. And they just some teams have your number. I can think of a number of years when Packers I think a couple years ago lost 3 games, and 2 of them were the Bears. It just happened to match up better at that point in time. So.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, and sometimes it's a little bit of a bugaboo. You want to do well, and I think you're right though. You brought it up at the very beginning. You talked about what happens after you have a big win. Are you a little bit too drained? Are you just a little bit too excited, and you don't put the game into perspective? And I still think they're going to build on this. I still think this is a positive. And then, of course, we put some people to sleep, as you can tell by this shot here.
He's not even listening to us, so I imagine if he hadn't listened to us, I feel sorry for him.
Well, we can put him to sleep. When they replay this tonight on Falls Cable Access Channel 14, I'm sure he'll still be asleep.
Okay. Now, before we wrap up here, once again, we want to thank James Davies, Alyssa Demji. We got a young fella here, I don't know his name, but he's been, Kyle? Yeah, Kyle. Actually, he's probably going to be on Gordon Kirchhoff. And then Harry Stetz, who puts it all together. And fallscableaccess.com does a good job with this, but you watch all the shows that they do and they put on. And there's something for everybody out there. I was at the Odyssey restaurant this morning, and a woman, waitress, has moved into the fall. She says, and she started watching that, was watching some of the older folks. And she goes, a lot of those women come into the restaurant here. She goes, I just love that station. Where she came from, they didn't have anything like that. So once again, we want to thank fallscableaccess.com, Channel 14, and you can catch them streaming. So I guess it kind of wraps up. You got any last words, Bill?
No, I'm just so proud of our kids, so proud of our programs. So we really appreciate all the efforts tonight. We had such great things tonight. We had our band was here, the kids were here, and the young kids were here. So this just shows what a special, special place Menomonee Falls is.
And before I sign off, I got to wish my mom, it's my birthday on Monday, or Sunday. I want to thank Mom. She came to the game tonight.
Hey.
86 years old. She wants to see the Falls play. That's what we need, everybody in this town to come out and support that team, and all the sports, not just the basketball team. So on behalf of Cable Access Channel 14, Falls Cable Access, Jerry Misslang, Bill Hintz, have a good night, everyone, and we'll see you again for the next girls' game. And
Mom?
there she is.
How'd you get that? That's
I don't know. Alyssa Demji or James Davies out there, they're doing a good job.
Good camera shot. Good camera shot.
Are we done now? Okay, here we go.